And good morning and welcome to the Mimio webinar series. My name is Travis Rink and I'm from Mimio, and I would like to welcome you to today's webinar. And before we begin, I'd like to complete a quick sound check. So if you can hear me, would you please indicate so by giving me a smiley face either in the chat window or by simply pressing the smiley face icon up there in the participants panel. All right, Mimio is pleased to present Flexible, Affordable Educational Tech Solutions for All, featuring educator Mary Beth Lowe. A little bit of background on Mary Beth. Mary Beth is a high school special education and earth science teacher in Greene County Public Schools, located there in Standardsville, Virginia. Mary Beth has over 30 years of classroom experience in both the private and public school settings. She holds both a bachelor's and a master's degree in special education, along with being nationally board certified in exceptional needs. Mary Beth serves as the instructional technology specialist for her school and works with the district technology department by providing training and support for her staff. She uses the Mimio products daily in her classroom and works with other staff members in how they can better use the classroom technology. Mary Beth is also a Mimio master and is part of the Mimio Connect team, and she serves in the Ask a Master capacity there on Mimio Connect, where she fields questions from members from all over the community. She is also part of the Mimio teacher team and has most recently made presentations in Austin, Texas at TCEA. Now, before I turn it over to Mary Beth, I'd like to cover some quick housekeeping information. Each of you should have a sidebar over there to the left of the presentation window. Right underneath the participant panel, you should see the chat window. And at this point, I'm typing a message to you, and that is exactly where we would like for you to use that chat window to ask any questions that you have of Mary Beth or of any of us throughout the session today. We will do our best to answer all those questions either during the webinar or after the webinar in a Q&A session that we will host. Shortly after the webinar, we will also be sending out an email to everybody that's been registered, and that email will contain a link to today's recording as well as a slide deck for everything you're going to see Mary Beth present. I will also let you know that this presentation will also remain on demand, so you can access this anytime and just sit back, relax, enjoy your cup of java and some donuts if you have them this morning, and all that good stuff. So again, we do encourage you to ask questions throughout the session, and please sit back and relax and enjoy the show. So with that said, it's my pleasure to now welcome Mary Beth Lowe. Mary Beth.
Thank you so much, Travis, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm going to be showing you today how the MimioClassroom provides a better way to learn by integrating so many aspects together. Our new MimioMobile app for iPad and the new MimioPad provide collaborative learning options that allow for multiple students to interact and engage in your lesson. The Mimio Studio suite of classroom products, the Mimio Vote, the Mimio View, the Mimio Interactive Projector, MimioMobile, and MimioReading, all of these provide flexible solutions for teachers to provide direct instruction, to facilitate student learning, and offer individual instruction. If you already have iPads in your classroom, the MimioMobile app, along with MimioReading, offers tools to integrate those devices. And even with bring your own devices and solutions in place, you now have a tremendous asset at your disposal. Enhance learning in your classroom with collaborative learning, blended learning, differentiated instruction, and real-time formative assessment, all working seamlessly together. MimioReading Comprehension Suite offers adaptive, individualized, and whole group instruction that meets the needs of students and is suitable for grades K through 8. And MimioReading is aligned with Common Core standards and can be accessed on iPad or computer. So no matter what your district, school, or classroom needs, even if you have other interactive whiteboards in place, Mimio will work with anything you have and will help you get there. So let's look at some of the individual products offered by MimioClassroom. First, we have MimioTeach. MimioTeach is a full-featured teaching tool that turns your existing dry erase boards into interactive whiteboards. It's portable, it's easy to set up, and very user-friendly. The Mimio Projector is a new product. It's an interactive projector that connects with your teacher's computers and uses the dry erase boards you already have to give you that interaction. MimioPad is a wireless pen tablet that allows teachers to control the whiteboard from anywhere in the classroom, all with plug-and-play simplicity, very easy to use. The Mimio board is an interactive whiteboard that offers all the features of MimioTeach, but in a fixed board solution, and it's also erasable. The Mimio Studio Classroom software is the single software program that automatically integrates the entire family of MimioClassroom products. Its intuitive simplicity will be familiar to anyone who uses a computer. This software drives all the products and the lessons you'll see today. MimioMobile is our new iPad app. This allows teachers and students to control the activity or the lesson projected to the class from anywhere in the classroom. It can be used for collaborative learning sessions as well as for formative assessments. MimioVote offers instantaneous assessment, student response system that's easy to program, and students love to use it. MimioView is the most user-friendly document camera. It captures high-resolution pictures and live videos for display and for annotation, and it's a valuable asset for any classroom. Especially, I teach science, and it's a great asset in a science classroom. MimioCapture. With MimioCapture, you can save, edit, upload lessons for students who want to review them, or for students who perhaps missed a day and missed some lessons. MimioConnect is our interactive teaching community. It's free to join. And when you go to MimioConnect, you find that teachers have created resources, uploaded them, and are sharing them. These resources are content aligned to state and Common Core standards. And you can go there and find lessons that you may need. You can then tweak them, change them, make them your own. It's a very large, active online community. And as Travis said in the introduction, we have Mimio Masters on MimioConnect who are answering your questions directly. So you can always get an answer and always get a lesson through MimioConnect. Our MimioMobile application is available to download from iTunes. All you have to do is search for it in the App Store using the keyword Mimio. You will need Mimio Studio 10 in order to use MimioMobile. The app is free to download, and it's available for iPad 2, higher, and also for the iPad mini. It's also coming for Android and possibly other platforms soon. There's no cost to download it, but a Mimio license is needed to be purchased in order to enable the functionality to use Mimio devices with your Mimio Studio. A single classroom license allows every student in the class to use their mobile device to interact with the lesson and take advantage of the features you'll see in this presentation. It's a one-time purchase and no additional fee. It's very easy to connect. It utilizes QR code technology where students simply point at the QR code and tap to connect to MimioMobile and to interact with your lesson. Now I'm going to just demonstrate a few lessons using some of the Mimio tools and the technology. We always have objective slides or objective pullouts so that students know what they're going to be doing and that teachers who may use your lesson know what you're going to be doing. In this particular lesson, it's a lesson on symmetry, and students will use the pen or line tool to draw the correct lines of symmetry for each object, and then we'll be able to check our answers. Immediate feedback is so important for students, and Mimio can build that in for you and give you that immediate feedback that your students need. So what I'm going to do is for this one, I'm going to choose my pen tool, and a student would come to the board and simply draw all the lines of symmetry. My lines are not very good, but that's okay. All the lines of symmetry that they see on the starfish. Then they can come and check to see if they're correct. They can do the same thing using the line tool, drawing all the lines of symmetry, and then check to see if they're correct. It's an excellent way for feedback for students, and an excellent way for your students to see right away that they understand the concepts being taught. This particular lesson lends itself really well to using the Mimio projector and, of course, our Mimio Studio software. Anything when I pull these out, if they're in blue, they're recommended for that lesson, but anything in purple can also be used for the lesson. So let's look at another lesson in symmetry, this time using our Collaborate feature. With the MimioMobile, you can collaborate. You can have students work together in groups. Anytime you see this symbol, it means that there's a Collaborate feature or a Collaborate lesson possible. Again, we would be using our Mimio Studio, and this time MimioMobile. So students would be given a set of shapes in a group or individually. They would be using either MimioPads or iPads. And when the teacher chooses the option, the different groups are then projected in front of the class. So all students can see what all groups are working on. The student can also annotate on the individual shapes, can zoom in on one or another to either make corrections or to give some shout-outs to students who are doing really well. So this Collaborate feature allows groups to work and allows other students to see what students in their class are doing and give some feedback to them. It's an awesome feature of MimioMobile. Using the MimioView, the student can use the MimioView to observe different objects and again draw the correct lines of symmetry. This would be, of course, using the MimioTeach, MimioStudio, and our MimioView document camera. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit to show you what students can do. This would be projected in front of your classroom. A student can come up under the Mimio document camera, actually on the worksheet, and draw the lines of symmetry. This can be recorded. It can be made larger. It can also be copied for future use. A teacher can also come in and annotate directly on the screen and draw lines of symmetry. Excuse my lines, I'm not very good at that. But you can see that it's a great tool to use in the classroom, and it's multifunctional for both classroom work and also worksheets that you may want to share with your class. And when you're done teaching symmetry or any session, of course you want to do some assessment. And here we have an example of a Mimio Vote question, and this would be using our MimioTeach, MimioStudio software, of course. You could also use MimioMobile, and I'll show you how that looks in just a moment, as well as our Mimio Vote system. So as soon as we make this live, students would see this on the screen, and they would also, if they had their iPad and Mimio Vote, this is what they would see on their iPad screen in order to key in their vote. And this is our Mimio Vote handheld units that students would use for that real-time assessment. Once you make the voting live, students are able to key in their answers, and then you can check the answer. You can have different icons to show the correct answer. And the immediate assessment for the teacher comes when you have a chart you can pull out, and it tells you what percentage of your class did well, whether or not I need to reteach this, or maybe I just need to pull a couple of people out, maybe do a little bit of remediation during lunch or during some kind of after-school time. It's a great informative assessment, lets me know what my students know and what they got from my lesson. You can also use Mimio Studio and all of the classroom products for reading and language arts activities. This particular activity says that students will read the story or watch the video of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This utilizes MimioTeach, the interactive Mimio projector perhaps, of course MimioPad and Mimio Studio. So you can also embed lessons into Mimio Studio. You won't be able to hear this, but you can just see that it's immediate. I can embed a video into my lesson. Students can watch it. They can read it. I can give them some real-time activities and engage them in the lesson. Once they've read Goldilocks or watched the video, I can then ask them to do a group activity. Here's my Collaborate button again. And what this particular group activity asks is that students will work with a group and do some writing activities. One group would perhaps share who the main characters are in the story. Another group would do some problem solving for the bears. And when it's projected using MimioPad or MimioMobile, this is what this class would see up to 9 devices, either MimioPads or Mimio iPads, would be shown, and the students would do their writing and their brainstorming live right in front of all their classmates, and people could add ideas, and teachers can see how students are working together and how they're using the ideas they got from their reading and their video. Very quick, very easy to do, and it gets students engaged in each other and in the story or in the lesson that you're trying to teach. And again, we have assessment. I would poll the class using MimioVote, using my iPads. I would poll the class asking what the 3 bears like to eat. Students would give the answer. I could see immediately how the students did, whether or not I need to reteach it. And the other really great thing about the MimioVote and the iPad assessment is that it goes directly into a grade book, so I can go in later and see which students had problems with the concept, and I can pull them aside later. So I automatically have that feedback for all of my students. It's a great tool. You can also use, of course, Mimio for other subjects. This particular lesson is on identifying flags of the United States. And in this one, students will use the Mimio pen or the line tool and draw a line from a flag of their choice to the correct state. And when all are complete, pull the answer key out to check answers. And once again, I'm going to choose the line tool because my hand-drawn lines are just not very good. And so I can pull from each flag to the state. One of the nice things is if you're using our new interactive projector, you could have 2 pens and 2 students at one time up at the board, and you could almost have like a competition to see which students can get the states correct in the least amount of time. Once the students have all of the lines drawn, then you simply pull this arrow over, match up the flags, and see whether or not students were correct. And again, you have an immediate feedback. Students know what they've gotten right, what they've gotten wrong, and they can see right away how they're doing on that lesson. And once again, we can do our formative assessment. Which state flag is shown after the students have done their flag unit. You can do this with all the flags. You can put in the flags and ask students to identify them. In this case, the flag is the flag of Colorado. And again, I can check and see that most students got this right, and so I probably don't need to reteach it. But again, I can go back into my grade book and pull out those 1 or 2 students who seem to be struggling, and I can do some remediation with them on the subject. Our MimioReading is a program that's available for grades pre-K through 8. And the programs are tailored to help students learn to read and read to learn. And that's no matter what developmental level or ability they are. The MimioReading programs help students master comprehension strategies across all subject areas. The Mimio Sprout early reading system brings a non-reader or a beginning reader up to a mid-second grade level using adaptive online instruction. And the MimioReading Comprehension Suite helps students in grades K through 8 master reading comprehension. These programs allow for research-based whole group instruction, differentiated small group instruction, and effective reading instruction on computers or on iPads. Mimio offers some great training and professional development opportunities. These opportunities are comprehensive. They include basic training to advanced levels, and they're available both online and on-site. Mimio offers no-cost on-demand recordings, free quick learn sessions, some fee-based sessions. Our Mimio Masters classes and the Certified Trainer classes are fee-based. Mimio Academy offers on-site, customizable professional development to fit all your training needs. You can learn more about the training and professional development opportunities at Mimio.com. Please take advantage of them. There are some great resources out there for your staff. And at this point, I'm going to turn this back over to Kristen and Travis to talk about the professional development CEUs that are available.
Great. Thank you so much, Mary Beth. My name is Kristen Romeli, and I'm with Mimio, and I wanted to let you all know that you are all eligible to receive professional development credit for attending today's webinar. This will be distributed via email through a CEU certificate. So if you are interested in receiving credit for this webinar, please follow the link that is on your screen right now. It's also in the chat box for you. Fill in some quick information, and we will email a certificate to you in the next day. Great. So now I think it's time to start the Q&A session. We've had a few really great questions come in. This first one is for you, Mary Beth. Linda Curran-Beth. She is also a high school science teacher, and she recently received a MimioView. Do you have any tips on how to use this technology with science lessons?
The MimioView is great for science lessons, especially if you have a limited budget and large classes. I happen to teach earth science and environmental science, but also I know our biology teachers use the MimioView quite a bit when you have specimens that perhaps you don't have enough to give to the whole class or even to groups. You can put these things under the MimioView, under that camera, and project it for everyone to see. Students can come up and they can draw on them. You can project, for example, I project different types of minerals, and we talk about the properties of minerals. If I don't have enough to give out to my students, I know that our biology teachers will put up pictures of that they found, really good pictures of, say, plant or animal cells, and students can then come directly to the board and can label those parts of cells directly on the whiteboard from the MimioView. It's a great thing for schools, as we all have limited budgets, limited specimens, and large classes. It's a great way to get some visuals out to your students very, very easily.
Great. Thank you so much, Mary Beth. This next question from Craig. This one's for you, Travis. My school shares iPads by renting out one of our iPad carts. Would this make it difficult to use MimioMobile?
Yeah, that's a great question, and actually you have a very perfect situation right there, because if you have iPad carts, what I would suggest is that you have a dedicated computer that stays with that cart, and once you have MimioMobile activated, again, as Mary Beth said, the Mimio Studio is free for download from the site, Mimio.com. You can download the MimioMobile application from the iTunes Store. It's free to download also. And we just released a new software version on Friday, actually, Mimio Studio 10.1, that allows you the option of a 30-day evaluation, a full access evaluation of both programs. So that would give you ample opportunity to install that on the dedicated laptop on that iPad cart. And then every iPad and any student in your classroom can download the MimioMobile application and have that, again, free of charge on their iPads. And then that one computer that has the activated software, whether you're using the evaluation copy or you purchase the one-time license for that, it's a one-time fee, and it activates every single iPad that you can use for that cart. So you now have that fully functional iPad cart that can go classroom to classroom as you rent those out, as you said, and have maximum impact with multiple students.
Great. Thanks so much, Travis. Mary Beth, we just got a question in from Shelley Stahl. She wants to know, how good would this technology be for adult learners?
Oh, I think this technology would be great for all learners. Definitely. I taught community college for several years, and I wish then that I had this technology. I think adult learners are sometimes even more difficult to motivate and engage. Plus, adult learners are so used to note-taking and reading that I think this would be a great way to get those learners more engaged with their learning, to do some wonderful productions and putting together of lessons in their own group projects using the Mimio Studio software. I think with adult learners is where I would actually have them use the Mimio Studio software to create their own presentations using the software for their own reports and group work. I think it's a great way to use with adult learners. As I say, I wish I'd had it when I taught community college. It would have been a wonderful, wonderful asset.
Great, thank you. Travis, this next question from Juan is for you. Can you use MimioVote with MimioMobile?
sure can. In fact, if you have the MimioVote units already, those could be used standalone, but you can also mix and match with iPads that you use in the MimioMobile application. So, or if you just have the MimioMobile, if you just have iPads with the activated MimioMobile, you can simply use that for all of your assessment needs. So you can truly you truly have those flexible options to utilize anything that you might already have. So again, if you just have the iPads and you have the MimioMobile application, you now have a dedicated assessment tool built in that you can leverage your iPads even heavier. Again, if you have the MimioVote units, you can use those, but you can also mix and match with the iPads you have. So you truly have unlimited resources for assessment.
Great, thank you. And I think we have time for one last question. This one is from Carl, and Mary Beth, I'm going to let you take this one. Carl says, there seem to be a lot of great training options available. What is the best, most effective training option that you have used, Mary Beth?
I think the best, most flexible training option I've used has been the quick learn sessions, as well as the on-demand recordings of those quick learn sessions. The quick learn sessions, if you're a person who wants to talk with a live person and be with a group of people who are all interested in learning the same technique or the same part of Mimio software that you are, the quick learn sessions are great. They're free. All you have to do is go in, sign up. You do them on your own time. They take about an hour. If you're someone who can't arrange that time, on Mimio.com, you can look at the on-demand recordings of those Mimio quick learn sessions. They're just a great way to put this training on your time and in your schedule. And I think it's probably the best thing that I've ever done, and it's the best thing I know that I've ever directed other teachers to. It's an awesome training resource.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Mary Beth, for all of your knowledge and answering these questions and for the great presentation today. I wanted to remind you guys all about those CEU credit certificates. Feel free to follow the link that was put into your chat window, and we'll be able to get you a certificate within a day. And now I'm going to turn this over to Travis to wrap up today's session.
All right, thank you, Kristen. And again, I do want to remind you that we do have our next webinar, which is scheduled for this Friday, May 3rd at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, and that will cover the Mimio Goes Mobile. So we'll focus strictly on the MimioMobile application and how to integrate that in your classroom. And that will be presented, as you see there on the screen, by a great teacher, another great teacher, Paul Gigliotti from Cleveland, Ohio. So as you do decide to wrap up this webinar and leave us for today, a reminder that we will be sending you a follow-up email, usually within the next 24 to 48 hours. That email will contain the recording links to today's webinar, as well as a link to the slides that you saw Mary Beth present, as well as a capturing of the question and answer session that went on today. So if you have any other questions, feel free to throw those in the chat window. As you do exit, so we can close down our recording, if you will please go up to the File menu of the Collaborate webinar window. You can simply hit File and Exit, and that will allow you to leave our webinar. Otherwise, I'll wait about 5 more minutes, and then I will remove you so we can close this recording down. So again, if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to send those to webinars@mimio.com, and we will be glad to help you out. Hope to see you in our next webinar. Thanks for joining us.